Michigan football needed some stability at the top, and it's hard to find anyone more stable than Kyle Whittingham, fresh off a 21-season run at Utah that saw him win 177 games. Only Kirk Ferentz and Dabo Swinney have won more among active coaches. He takes over a really good roster in Ann Arbor, took some time away from his preseason prep to chat recently with our Rick Pizzo.
Kyle, you had multiple chances to be at other places. You stayed at Utah for a very long time. Then you did decide to accept Michigan's offer. Why was that the right choice for you?
Well, first of all, it's Michigan. I mean, what more can you say? It's one of the most storied traditions in all of college football. The resources, the academics, they got it all at Michigan. And so it was absolutely too good to pass up.
So how close were you to either retiring or considering a different role in college football before the call came from Ann Arbor?
Very close. And I'd already come to terms with the fact that if I was done, then I would be okay with that. I got 11 grandkids and 2 on the way, and that was something that was a distinct possibility. But again, when the call came from Michigan, that changed everything.
As you went through that thought process, what were you thinking about in terms of the history and what you had already accomplished in college football, and how comfortable were you and your family with that decision that maybe this was time that I could be done coaching college football?
Well, everyone was on board, and so there wasn't anybody in the camp that was saying, "Hey, no, let's just ride off into the sunset." And particularly my wife. I mean, she said it sounded like a great opportunity, and I had followed Michigan since I was an 8-year-old kid down in California. I used to watch the Ohio State-Michigan game every year, and so I already had an affinity for the university. But I don't think there was, I can confidently say there was nobody in my close circle that had any other thoughts, but hey, let's go.
As we followed the Michigan coaching search, everybody wanted to be the person that figured out who was going to be the next guy. I didn't hear your name a lot. Was there an element of surprise when the first point of contact came to you?
I don't know if it's surprise, but how about interest? Legitimate interest, like I said, and it happened. All the stars aligned. I mean, when something like this happens, that has to be the case, where everything just fits together. And as we got deeper into it, it seemed, the more we looked at it, a great fit for both sides, and so the rest is history.
How quickly for you did the process actually go?
Start to finish, it was probably about 10 days, 7 to 10 days from first contact to the offer and the acceptance and all that, probably about 10 days. Yeah.
How familiar were you with the facilities, the actual location, the school itself?
Other than we had played there, 3 times over the past, 15 years, 20 years. And so that was it. I'd never, outside of the big house, set foot on campus or the football facility or any of that. But it's Michigan. I mean, you're gonna have what you need there.
Well, as you walked around for those first kind of moments, what was going through your mind about the job that you'd just taken?
Exactly what I expected is what went through my mind. I thought, yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is what I pictured, and this is as it should be. And it was just great facilities. The community, the passion for football in Ann Arbor is just off the charts.
So what for you were the most obvious similarities and differences between your previous job and this one?
A couple more zeros on the budget, I guess. but Big Ten, obviously a new conference. So that was a difference. But football is football. I mean, that's and if you're in the college game, particularly in the A4 conferences, then there's not going to be a ton of difference in how you approach things.
That's a perfect segue to this next question, because every coach has to evolve. But throughout your career, you've seemed to remain very true to your fundamentals and your beliefs and the right way to run a program. How do you think that's helped you at this point in your career take over a program of this prestige during a time of change, the likes of which, honestly, we've never seen before in college football?
Yeah, you're right. And you either embrace that change or you embrace irrelevancy. I mean, that's the long and short of it. And, the portal's been around for a few years now, as has NIL, and it has definitely changed the game. I think there's bigger changes on the horizon, and or more, changes of great magnitude. And it's just, like I said, you either adapt or die. I mean, there's no other alternative.
One of the first things any coach has to do at a new stop is assemble the staff that he or she thinks is going to be the staff that helps them win games in any sport. What was your thought process in assembling yours?
Well, just getting the best coaches available that I know, had a background with. Trust is a big factor when you're hiring your staff, and loyalty, and we feel like we've assembled a group of guys that is top notch. Coordinators, Jason Beck, Jay Hill, Kerry Combs, our special teams coordinator, all terrific football coaches. I'm familiar with pretty much every coach on the staff. There was a couple that didn't have a lot of background with, but did my homework and decided they'd be good fits.
Basically, no coach will ever tell you they feel like they've accomplished everything that they want to at any point, whether you get to the national championship game or not. I talked to Kurt Cignetti. He said, we didn't play our best in the national championship game, even after winning the national title. That being said, what do you feel like you've accomplished at this point, just a couple of months into the tenure?
Well, at the time at Utah, we did a lot of good things. We won a bunch of games, some Pac-12 championships, Rose Bowls, that type of thing. Obviously, the big thing is national championship. That's what I think every coach in A4 football is seeking, and Michigan certainly provides a very legitimate opportunity, as evidenced by a couple of years ago when they did win it. And so that's certainly on the table.
For you, what have you already checked off your to-do list early on?
Well, recruiting is never a check off the list. It's 24/7 every day of the year, but I feel like we've done a really nice job getting a good start on the 27 recruiting class. I think, backing up even further, I think we did a really good job retaining talent on the roster. Anytime you go through a coaching change, and especially one that has a little bit of drama to it, there's a lot of opportunity for exodus of players. But I think we hung on to a good portion of those guys. We lost a few guys we wish we wouldn't have, but overall, I think we did a really good job of retention.
One of those players that you retained is quarterback Bryce Underwood, a remarkably talented young man. How do you get the most out of that talent?
Yeah, he is, his physical profile and his skill set is incredible. Coach Beck, our offensive coordinator, is a master at putting players in position to succeed, which is the essence of coaching. Put players in position where they can succeed, and then help them accomplish that. And we will play to Bryce's skill set. There's no doubt about it. He's a dual threat, without a doubt. And so we'll have an offense that is geared toward what he does best.
Defensively, I got to watch the entirety of your spring game, and that defensive front four just absolutely dominated. I know that was also one area of strength for you during your entire tenure at Utah. What do you ultimately want the identity of a Kyle Whittingham Michigan defense to be?
Well, physical is the operative word. If you can't defend the run, everything else is really hard. So you better be able to play run defense. And the formula is simple. Shut down the run on first and second down, then get after the quarterback on third down. That's pretty much what it boils down to.
How do you, whether it's personally, with your staff, with the entire team, balance what are massive outside expectations in Ann Arbor with your own internal expectations?
Yeah, we're just trying to be as good as we can possibly be. It's a process. The cupboard certainly was not bare. We're not crying the blues, but there's some work to be done with some depth at certain positions, and that's why you recruit, and that's exactly what we're doing right now, putting this next class together.
The goal is to get Michigan to the college football playoff. As we look at the playoff, Commissioner Petiti prefers 24. There are coaches out there that like the 12. There are others that like the 16. What's your stance on what's good for college football in terms of the playoff?
Yeah, well, with the structure that we have now, 12 is not enough. I mean, you look at the NFL and NHL and MLB, and nearly 50%, if not 50% of the teams make the playoffs. And if we got, 130 teams, I guess if you count everybody, then that's just not enough access. And so 16 or 24 being probably the best solution right now to have more access for more players or more football teams.
Hey, listen, the first week of the season is going to be here before we know it. What does the summer look like for you?
Well, we got spring recruiting going hot and heavy right now. June, we shift gears, and it's more camps, working with our own players again, meetings, have an opportunity to spend time with them. July is the 1 month coaches get off, and then August 1, we crank it back up.
Finally, Kyle, how much thought have you given to what it will feel like running onto the field in week 1 for that first game in a different polo shirt or uniform or whatever it is you're wearing on that particular day?
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit different, but I've already started that process, and I'm pretty good at handling change, and I don't see any real big drama with that.
Well, Coach, we welcome you to the Big Ten. Can't wait to watch Michigan football this fall.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.